Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to do a character guide on Deuce. So Deuce is a support battery type character, specifically makes magic attackers a lot better, so you typically want to use her as a support in a magic attacking team comp. Doesn't have to be, it's something you can do. So in this video we're going to look at her calls, her artifacts, and her spheres, and then we will go ahead and jump into a little showcase. Her calls, honestly, not that significant. The 15 call here just does a party magic attack up, which is okay. And then on the LD, basically this is just like a spot heal. So if you need a spot heal, you can do that. And then does raise party magic brave damage dealt as well on that one. So yeah, if you want the magic damage up and then having access to a heal, like, it is a call you could use, right? It's not one that I've used a lot, but it's something you could use, right? So let's look at the character herself. So this is another character where I think you could go a traditional build on, but you could do something a little bit different than that. My artifacts, I haven't farmed them up yet, but there's a few ways you could go. So I would say the traditional build, which I don't actually have a traditional build on here, but it would be attack 108. So ignore the eye brave there, but it would be attack 108 and then the C50. The C50 does party eye brave and attack. I would say the C50 is the most important one because it is a party attack up. So you want 3 of the C50. Now for the secondary one, I think you're good with going either attack, eye brave, or max brave. What I'm going to do for mine personally once I build her up is, I don't think I even have one yet. No, I don't. I'm going to go 3, I think max brave 330 and then the C50. And the reason why is she does a lot of battery that scales off of her max brave. And I talked about this in other videos, but I would rather my Deuce support as best as she possibly can rather than try to throw some attack on her. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go full max brave and C50 is the way I'm going to build her once I get those artifacts actually built out, right? So we're going to keep that in mind now going into the spheres, because there's a lot of different ways you can go with the spheres then, depending on how you want to play her, right? So for the C slot, if you did like, Maria, Alphanod, or Lude, you could do that, right? So those are going to be party attack ups, which I think those are very significant, very good, right? Specifically Maria and Lude, because Deuce does heal, so she can trigger those ones. But those are like your options for party attack up. So for your traditional build. Now, you could also do something like Lilith here, which would be a Brave Gain Sphere, and this one does scale on Max Brave. So the C slot does have several Brave Gain Spheres, but most of them scale on Eye Brave. And since Deuce, I'm really focusing more on the Max Brave, I went with Lilith here, because that. Oh, you know what? Actually, Lilith's not a good one. My bad. Don't do Lilith, because Lilith is a debuff sphere. So never mind that. Let's plug a different one on right now. So we'll do this on the fly, because Deuce actually doesn't debuff. So you can't put a debuff sphere on. So Lilith was one I just had on her in the past. So what I would maybe go with then is I would actually go with Paladin Cecil. Now she doesn't have encouragement armor. Let's do Paladin, and I got plenty of Paladin Cecils. She doesn't have encouragement armor, but I still like Paladin Cecil because it is going to be a Brave Gain that scales on Max Brave. So yeah, don't do Lilith because she doesn't debuff. So then I think Paladin Cecil is the only option for a Brave Gain that scales off of Max Brave. So Paladin Cecil will be my choice there, not Lilith, because once again, if you don't debuff, you can't trigger the sphere, right? And then let's look at the D slot. For the D slot, this is another one where the traditional build would be a party attack up, which I think is fine. So this one would be like your Ash, Saz, Lise, Hope, like anything in that. I would probably shout out Hope. Hope would probably be best in slot here because Hope is attack and Max Brave. And so then you're getting best of both worlds. You're getting party attack up, and then you're getting the Max Brave up that Deuce needs. So I would say Hope is best in slot. Now, I happen to have some extra Edwards. And this is going to be party Eye Brave, Max Brave. So I think that's decent just to help with the overall battery. But yeah, I would say Hope is best in slot there for sure, right? So those are the spheres. Let's go ahead and hop into the showcase here, and then we can kind of talk about what Deuce does. Very easy character to play. She pretty much just does what she needs to do, right? So let's go ahead and hop in here. I don't really care what the friend unit is. Actually, I probably shouldn't be wasting my good selfie friends on showcases because I'm not even going to bring her in, right? So the first thing you're going to notice is Deuce starts with an overhead, and this comes from the LD. It's called Hymn of Healing. So all buffs that she grants gets an extra 3 turns. So that's huge, right? And then this just has really nice auras on it. So you want to upkeep this. It's going to be party attack up, brave gains up, magic brave damage increased, overflow up, HP damage up, and HP regen. So like literally all of that is built into the overhead. So just by upkeeping that overhead, you've got just a really nice aura bot type character, right? Let's go ahead and throw the quick prayer down on Deuce to get her some turns. And then we'll go ahead and just do an attack here. And we'll get to her. So, what's going to happen with Deuce is she is going to, I would, she's going to start off with her LD buff. She's going to have everything active right away. So what I really recommend you do, and I'm going to just swap into her here. What I recommend you do is you open with Concerto, which is the 15, and then go into the 35. Now, Concerto is a really nice move. Now, as you're watching this, just keep in mind, my Deuce is only Force Enhanced 10, but if you're going to use Deuce, definitely Force Enhanced 30, because Concerto becomes a Force Charging move, okay? So let's use Concerto, and this is an instant turn, okay? And you're going to see it's just going to be a really nice battery and heal for the party, right? So, a battery scaled on max brave, heals based on max HP, so you could, if you want to increase her healing, you could even give her some HP passives, but I think max brave and attack, those type of passives are better. And then that extends all of her buffs by 1 turn. So literally, you can just pop that for free, and you can force charge if you want to, right? Then what it does is it gives the party a very important buff called Note. Now, the Note buff is probably the most important one you want to upkeep. So you can see there's the Note buff there. Because a lot of her stuff scales on how many Note buffs are on the party. So you always want the whole party to have the Note buff on. Now, she used to have a really shafted kit where, like, if a party member got broken, the Note buff would actually go away, but that doesn't happen anymore. And they're really big, fat 11-turn buffs, so they're going to be on there a while, but you want to upkeep Note on the party, okay? And then it gives herself a max brave up. The Note, it's just an attack 10% buff, so like the buff itself isn't that fantastic, but you do want it up because it improves her kit, as you'll see as we go through. So let's go ahead and do Dissonant Sonata. This is pretty much like your filler attack that you're going to do. Okay, you see decent damage for a support character, right? So that does up Party Battery, scaled on Max Brave once again. That's your AoE attack, okay? And then the HP attack amount depends on how many note buffs are on the party. So once again, you just want to have 3 note buffs out there so that it looks the best, so that you get the more, you get more HP dumps based on having more notes out, essentially. And then that gives her a crescendo buff. Basically, this buff is stacking based on how many notes are in the party. So once again, you want to keep that maxed out, and it's going to do Max Brave and Brave Regen to the party. Once again, it's going to scale higher based on how many notes are out, so just keep those notes out there. And then it's going to do a party magic attack up, right? So once again, she's really meant to be used with magic attackers, which is why they brought her out with Renoa, right? To kind of feature that a little bit, right? Let's go ahead, and I guess we will show off. We can do the AA, which is actually a pretty powerful party attack up and magic attack up, and then Brave Limit up. So, and it does some overflow. So that's a good one. Like, if you ever get a free skill use, which you will off of the LD, the AA is actually a pretty good button to press there. But you really can't go wrong. So let's go ahead and do Hymn of Healing, which is the LD. Okay, and that is going to do a battery and heal like pretty much every other button does, right? Okay, and you can see 720k AoE, like decent little damage for a support character, right? So, big fat party heal, big fat party battery, big AoE attack. She gets a free ability use on her next turn. And the big thing is you're upkeeping that Hymn of Healing, that overhead. Now it's a 12 turn. You can see we really refresh that. So the LD, you're really using that to refresh and upkeep that overhead buff. Let's go ahead and swap back into Deuce again. Okay, and we just have to get the EX off, which we do have active right now. So let's go ahead and pop that EX, which should do pretty decent damage as well. Once again, free skill use if I want to. Great time to pop that AA, right? But you could really use it. I would say the 2 best uses of her free skill use, either the AA or Concerto. Because remember, Concerto is an instant turn, increase the force gauge, right? So like right now, I could just pop this and we get force charge. Now my force charge isn't going to look good. You can see that's still a decent force charge, but I'm only force enhanced 10, so you bring her to 30. And I think on my backlog of characters, if I get to the point where I get to having like a surplus of those force stones, I probably will force enhance 30 her, because I really do actually like her as a support character. She's very good. It's just compared to like the Luna Freyas and Garnets even, like she doesn't really compare as much to them, but she's a good, like, she does everything you want, right? She heals, she batteries, she has force charging. Like, those are kind of the 3 things you want out of like a mainstay support. So Deuce, if you're new to the game and you don't like have anything, like Deuce is actually a very good starting support character. Like if your roster is say like Renoa, like if your first team and you're new, if you have like Renoa, Deuce, and then like whatever third character, that's a very good team comp. So that's a great team comp you can start off with if you're a newer player, right? Let's use Requiem of Ruin, which is the EX. And this is once again, party battery, AoE attack, decent damage, 550k is okay for a support unit, right? Does upkeeps the party note buff, which you want to do, gives herself a buff called Fortissimo, which is an attack up, and then a party brave damage up, and then magic damage up, and then overflow stolen up. So very, very good. So anyways, guys, there you go. Very quick little showcase, but that's Deuce. Very, very good support character. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.